Hello and welcome to a Sweet Sierra class. Jules and I had so much fun leading the virtual retreat last month, and we just wanted to keep a little bit of that magic going. So we're going to be leading in-person live yoga and meditation, plus offering little recorded classes like this. So I hope you enjoy. We're going to get started in a comfortable seat on a mat. Make sure you have some space around you to practice on. A mat is great, but if you don't have one, a blanket or carpet works as well. You might want to have a pillow or a bolster nearby. You would just need it for one pose. It can just be kind of comfortable in your child's pose. You can grab a couple pillows off of your bed or a couch cushion as well. And so, once you have your space all set, you can even sit up on that cushion to start. Just let your hips, your sits bones rest. Let your knees be easy. Your Sukhasana, your easy seat. Letting right foot come in front of left. And then just let your hands rest on your knees. Let your elbows drop down nice and heavy. Close your eyes. Feel an inhalation lift you up through the crown of your head. As you exhale, soften your shoulders down. Breathing in, feel your collarbones, your shoulders, your chest open up. Breathing out, feel the hips, the knees heavy down towards the earth. With your next breath, just fill up all of that space that you created. And let it go. Take another deep, slow breath in, just experiencing that fullness of breath. In through the nose and out slowly through the nose. Keep settling into that deep, slow breath. Noticing the abundance of air all around you. How it's easy to breathe in deeply. How there's enough air to sustain you, to fill your lungs. This year has brought many of us out of this abundance mindset. This idea that there's enough for us all, into a mindset of more scarcity. Heard this explained before, like a scuba diver. They only have so much air to breathe. And so you're breathing cautiously and carefully in measured breaths. This is that idea of a scarcity mindset. You're holding tightly to all that you do have. But when we shift into an abundance mindset, it's like all of us here breathing the air around us. There's more than enough. More than enough for us all. So throughout our practice, we'll work to shift from a scarcity mindset into one of abundance. One really beautiful way to bring ourselves back to abundance is through gratitude. So as you keep breathing in deeply, breathing out slowly, start to bring to mind something, someone, somewhere that you are grateful for. Perhaps it's simply the air in your lungs. Holding that thought of gratitude in your mind for a few more breaths. And if your mind drifts away, just bring it back to that person, that place, that thing that you are so grateful for. A reminder of how much you already have. How abundant your life already is. Last deep breath in here. And as you let your breath go, just let your eyes blink so gently open. Maybe even keeping them heavy, just half open. We're just going to transition to our child's pose. So take your knees out wide, big toes together to touch. This is where you might grab a cushion, a pillow, and just slide it between your knees. Can just make it really comfortable. And the knees can be as wide or as narrow as feels good to you. Walk your hands out in front of you and slowly lower your torso onto your cushion or just down towards the earth. Let your forehead rest softly on the ground. And as you rest here, just continuing to breathe those long, slow yogic breaths. Starting to settle into your body. Noticing even here if you start to feel any tensions, anywhere your body is holding on a little bit today. Just sending your breath there. Three more breaths here, just taking the time to let yourself settle in. You can even sway a little side to side if that feels good. Last nice deep breath here. And then coming up to hands and knees. Bring your hands beneath your shoulders, knees beneath hips. Tops of the feet just rest on the earth. Take a breath in, lift through your chin, lift through your tailbone, drop your belly down. Exhale, curl chin to chest, rounding your spine, pushing through hands and feet. And then keep moving with your breath. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, curl in, pressing your heart through your shoulder blades. Inhale to rise. Exhale to round. Keep finding these movements connected to breath, but perhaps begin to bring some organic movements and fluidity, just flowing through your shoulders, hips, neck, whatever feels good. You can get creative, just playing with movement, sending that movement to wherever you're experiencing tension. And then take your big toes together once again. Keep your knees narrow this time and just sit your hips back onto your heels. Start to melt your chest down towards the ground and really walk your fingertips out in front of you. Tent your hands so you're just resting on the fingertips, palms are lifted. Take a breath here, lengthen through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, sink your forehead, sink your chest down towards the ground. You should just feel some gentle opening in the chest and the shoulders. A couple breaths here. Another nice, long, slow inhalation. And then as you exhale, take the palms to the earth and lower your elbows to your mat. And shift your shoulders over those elbows. Tuck your toes underneath your feet. Feel your belly button pulling up towards your spine. And then hover your knees. Walk your feet back till you're in a nice forearm plank. Try lowering your hips so that they come in line with the rest of your body. Keep pulling belly button towards spine. You can always take the knees down if you need a rest. Take another breath here. And then as you exhale, just lower your whole body onto the ground. Slide your elbows forward. Spread your fingertips and plant your palms. Drag your elbows back and pull your chest through your hands for Sphinx pose. Lift up through the crown of your head. And notice if you're sinking into your shoulders. Can you push up and out? You can make this pose more or less active. So if it's a little too much in your back, just soften, relax. If you want to go deeper, really pull the arms back, pull the chest through, lift through the crown of your head. Notice if you're squeezing in your glutes and try to relax. You can even shake your hips left and right. Deep breath in. Exhale, look back over your right toes. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, look back to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, we're gonna bring our right knee out from our hip. So you're sliding that right knee forward at about a 90-degree angle between your calf and your thigh. And you're gonna keep swiveling that right hip down towards the ground. Keep lifting through the chest, a little half frog. Should just feel like a nice gentle hip opener. If you feel any discomfort in your knee, try flexing your foot to protect it. If it still feels uncomfortable, inch your knee back a little further. Should be better. And breathing here. Nice passive hip opener, just allowing the weight of your body to gently open that right hip up. Couple more breaths right here. And noticing as you hold this hip opener, where do your thoughts go? Could you bring them back to thoughts of gratitude? Perhaps gratitude to your body for moving you through this practice. Last breath in. Exhale, just take your elbows out wide and melt your body down to the ground. You can rest one cheek. Slide your arms forward. You're gonna start to rotate over onto our left hip. Keep the right leg heavy. Opening your arms up nice and wide, coming into a twist. Scoot over it. So that right knee just stays towards the ground. You can take your left hand on top of your right thigh, on top of your knee. Just giving it a little more weight down towards the earth. The right arm can reach out long or just relax on the ground, whatever feels good. Take a couple breaths in this gentle twist. Letting your supine twist wring out your spine. Bring out any tension that you're holding on to. Hips and shoulders are heavy. Noticing your breathing, can you deepen it even more? Last deep breath in here. As you exhale, we're going to start to come onto our back. Keep bending that right knee in towards the chest. Left knee bends in as well. Catch the right ankle just above the left knee. Take your hands and slide them behind your left quad. Flex both feet and then gently draw that left quad in towards you. Keep opening your right knee away from your body. And then just breathe into that hip opener, maybe shifting a little side to side if it feels good. If your hips are feeling really tight today, just allowing them to be as they are, just showing up for your body as it is today. Couple more breaths here. Keeping the feet active helps protect the knees. Good. Last breath in. Exhale, release your hands from your left leg. You start to send your left leg out long along the ground. Hover the heel just a couple inches off the earth. Take your hands to your left knee and hug it into your chest. Tuck your chin to your chest and point both sets of toes. Good. Pull your belly button down towards your spine. Take a breath in. Exhale, switch legs. Move nice and slowly. Stay controlled. And then switch again. And switch. 4 and 5. Keep pulling the core in. And last time on your left leg, squeeze your left knee into your chest and then bend your right knee in as well. Relax your head down and just rock a little side to side. Maybe drawing some circles on the ceiling with the knees. That feels good in your low back in both directions. And then we're going to start to roll along the length of the spine. You can hold behind your quads. And if this feels good, take it a couple of times. If it doesn't, just come to rest on your sits bones. We'll meet up right there. So when you're ready and arrive on your sits bones, tuck your heels in close to your hips. Roll over your knees. And back. And hands and knees on the other side. Good. Just start to flow through our cat-cow. Inhale, lift chin and tailbone. Exhale, curling in. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, around the spine. Tuck chin to chest. And one more round. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, curl in. And then find your neutral spine. And this time we're going to take our right shoulder towards our right hip. Like an accordion, try to squeeze that side of the body as much as you can. And then change sides. Left shoulder and left hip move towards one another. Good. And the other side, squeezing shoulder and hip towards one another, right side of the body. And over to the left. Take another breath. And come to center. Take your big toes to touch, knees stay narrow. Sink your hips back onto your heels and rest your forehead down towards the ground. And again, tent your fingers. Those palms stay lifted. Maybe you inch your fingertips forward. And just rest your chest, rest your forehead. Breathing deeply here. Just allowing your body to settle and your breath to be deep. One more breath here. Exhale, palms to the earth, elbows to the earth. Shift shoulders over elbows. Feel your core drawing up towards your spine. Tuck your toes under your feet. And just hover your knees. Walk your feet back. Come into that forearm plank. Good. Spreading the fingers. Notice if you sink into your shoulders. Power them up. Pulling belly button to spine. Take a breath. And then just lower your whole body down. Slide your elbows forward. Spreading fingertips, push palms into the ground. Again, now we're isometrically drawing your elbows back towards your rib cage. Pulling your rib cage out towards your fingertips. Lift through the crown of your head. Deep breath in. Exhale, look over towards your left toes. Breathing in. Breathing out, look over to your right toes. Inhale to center. Exhale, this time our left knee slides forward. And find that 90-degree angle with the left knee. Again, you can keep your left foot active. A little flex there can feel good. Notice if your weight came over to the right, try to even it out. Keep your left hip nice and heavy. And then just lift through the crown of the head, lift through the heart, and breathe. And again, noticing what thoughts come up. Can you bring your thoughts back to thoughts of gratitude? What are you grateful for today? Good. Taking 2 more breaths here, really deep, really slow. Notice if you've started to slump. Can you keep your arms active? Keep lifting up through your upper body, even as your lower body softens and relaxes. And then exhale, elbows slide out wide. Just relax your torso down. Reach your arms forward. We're gonna start to spiral onto our right hip. This time, left leg stays heavy. Coming into our supine twist. You might take your right hand over your left knee. Just allowing that whole left leg to be really heavy into the ground. Letting your shoulders and hips relax. And breathe. Maybe you even take your gaze out to the left, bringing the twist into your cervical spine as well, into your neck. Letting yourself soften, noticing where you're gripping, where you're holding, where that scarcity mindset might be showing up in your physical being. Our emotions affect our physical body. So how might an attitude of abundance and gratitude affect the way your body feels? your next exhale, we're just gonna roll onto our back. Draw your right knee in towards your chest, left ankle right above right knee. Little figure four pose. Take your hands and slide them behind your right quad. Using your hands to gently draw that right knee towards you, that right thigh towards you. Keep opening your left knee away from your body. Feet can be active to protect the knees. And then if it feels good, a little shifting left and right can feel really nice. Allowing your hips to open, to soften. One more really deep, slow breath in. Exhale, we're sending that right heel to hover long above the mat. Hands come around your left shin. Tuck your chin to your chest and point your toes. Good. Feel your belly button pulled down towards your spine. And then switch legs nice and slow and controlled. Good, switch again. And switch. And 5. And 6. Keep breathing deep and slow. Good. And last time, land on your right knee. Squeeze it into your chest. Lower your head down. Bring your left knee in as well. And just squeeze those shins. Give yourself a little rock, left and right. And once again, perhaps draw some circles on the ceiling with your knees in one direction. And then the other. Good. And then we'll start to rock along the length of the spine. And again, if this feels so good, just keep going. Otherwise, you can hover on your shins, on your sits bones rather. Take a breath here. And then squeeze your heels in towards your hips. And we'll, again, just roll over the knees onto hands and knees. Tuck your toes underneath your feet. Feel your core engaged, pulling belly button to spine. And then just start to send your hips up high. You can keep your knees really soft for now. And just start to pedal out your first downward dog of your practice. Couple deep breaths here, just really feeling it out. You might put your hips on a swivel, bending one knee and then the other, taking hips way over to one side and the other. Just make it feel good, whatever movements feel good in your body. And when you're ready, pause and find some stillness. Powering up your hands, pressing energy up through the shoulders. Take another breath. And then as you exhale, start to walk your toes towards your wrists. We're going to take our feet out wider than our hands. Toes pointing out, heels pointing slightly in. Okay. Keep your hands on the ground, bend your knees. Start to sink your hips down towards the ground. Good. If you have tight hips, you might not be able to come all the way down without your heels popping up. You can either slide something like blocks, books underneath your heels. You could even roll your mat underneath for support. You can also keep your hands on the ground. And then whenever you find a place where you feel comfortable, allowing your weight to settle into your feet, maybe bringing hands to heart center. Good, you can always keep the hands on the ground. Good, pressing palms together. Use the elbows to gently open the knees a little wider. Our Malasana, Taking a few breaths here, this nice deep hip opener. And we're going to start to find a lotus mudra with the hands. So keep the legs as they are, but you're going to peel the palms apart, keeping them sealed at the bottom so the fingers blossom open like lotus petals. And keeping that at heart center. Take a breath in. Exhale it out. On your next inhale, push into your feet. Lift your hands up overhead. Look up. As you exhale, start to bend through the knees. Sink all the way back down, lotus pose. Inhale, rise up. This time, exhale, pull your elbows out wide. Spread your fingers. Push your hands and elbows open. Inhale, hands join together, lotus mudra. Exhale, sink it down nice and slow. Take your hands to the ground. Keep your feet as is. And then step your left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Turn your right toes to face the front of your mat. And then drop your left knee, untuck your left toes. Just allow your hips to sink nice and heavy. Gonna take a few breaths here. So if this feels too intense, you can always put your hands up onto your cushion, a block, some stack of books. And then once you feel good, again, you can find a little movement. Always welcome a little wiggle in your yoga classes. And then connecting to your breathing. Allowing each exhale to sink your hips towards the ground a little bit more. Softening the body into the pose. Connecting with your breath, connecting with your intention, your gratitude practice. Even if your hips are tight, can you be grateful for your hips, for your legs that move you through every day of your life? Take one more breath here. And we're going to tuck our back toes. Lift the back knee and really power up the body. Power up the arms. Bend your right knee and just squeeze your heel to your hip. Keep the leg as is. Start to push your hips open for downward facing dog. Lift your right knee towards the sky. Take a breath. And start to draw some big open circles with the right knee. Should just feel good. If it's too much, you can always just bring that right foot back down to the ground. Drawing circles in both directions. One last breath here. And then keeping the knee bent, start to tuck the right knee in towards the chest. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. Take a nice deep breath in. And then start to lower your right shin all the way to the ground. Take your right toes, turn them out to the right. Left heel comes down to the ground. Right hand underneath your right shoulder, left fingertips to the sky. Take a really deep breath in. And then as you exhale, start to take your left fingertips towards the mat above your head. Sweep the left fingertips back and open, and then all the way out in front of your body. really big, slow circles. We'll take that a few times. This should just feel good. And then start to move in the other direction, seeking out all the edges of the movement. How big, how fluidly can you move? And then as you feel ready, exhale, left hand comes down to the ground. Turn onto the ball of your left foot. Press into the left foot and just step back to a plank pose. Lower your knees to the ground. Press your hips back onto your heels and lower your forehead to the ground. Either stay here in this nice, soft child's pose, or perhaps move through the vinyasa of your choosing. Whatever flowing set of movement linked to breath feels good in your body. And then if you stayed in child's pose, open up into a downward facing dog. We'll all meet there. From your downward dog, walk your feet forward towards your wrists. Toes slightly out, heels slightly in. Sink your hips towards the earth. Hands come to heart or stay on the ground if you need them for balance. And take a breath here. And let that breath go. Find your lotus mudra. Fingers spread, palms come apart. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, take it all the way back down, Malasana. Inhale to rise. Exhale, elbows pull out wide, open the palms, press the elbows back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink down. Place your hands on the earth. Step your right foot to the back of the mat. Drop your right knee, untuck your right toes. Okay. And then just let your hips be heavy. So this left foot is still a little wide apart. You can turn the toes to face the front of the mat. And then just allow yourself to soften. And once again, noticing if perhaps it helps you open up to shift your weight side to side a little bit. Feel good to just ease your body into this pose. Long, slow breaths. Last breath in. Exhale, tuck your toes under your right foot, lift your right knee, and really power up your body. Power up your hands and your core. Bend your left knee so that your left heel comes right up to your hip. And then push your hips back and up for downward facing dog. Left knee lifts up towards the sky. Take a breath. Start to draw really big, wide circles with your left knee. However feels good in your body. Taking circles in both directions. Giving yourself time here just to work out any kinks, any tightness in those hips. And then exhale, left knee to the chest. Shoulders over wrists. Keep your core really strong and just start to lower your left shin to the ground. Turn your left toes back. right heel to the ground, left hand right underneath your left shoulder, and right hand to the sky. A little variation of a side plank, nice and supported. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, right fingertips come towards the earth above your head. Feel a nice stretch along that whole right side of the body. And start to draw really big circles with your right hand. Finding all the edges of the movement. Get creative. Bend the elbow as it goes back. Taking circles in both directions. Oops, on a tree. Keep moving, keep flowing. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, take your right hand down to the ground. Roll to the ball of your right foot. Step your left foot back. Either move to your child's pose or flow through the vinyasa of your choosing. Good. Meeting in a downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, you're going to step your left foot through your hands. Okay. And then start to turn your left toes over to the right. Take your right heel to the ground and walk your hands to center. Again. Inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, just allow your torso to drape heavily down towards the ground. Let your head be heavy. You can always support yourself with your hands on bolsters, blocks, books, whatever feels good. And then just breathing here. Wide-legged forward fold. You might stay in this variation, or if you want to get a little shoulder opening, take your hands and clasp them behind your back. Interlace your fingers and press your palms together. Push your knuckles up towards the sky, and then gently let those fingers start to drift down towards the ground above your head. If you can, try to keep the palms together, sealed against one another. Protects your shoulders. Just allow your head to be heavy. You could even look left and right if that helps remind you to relax and release the muscles of the head, of the neck. Few more breaths here. Good. If you have those hands clasped behind the back, bend your elbows, hands to low back. Let the hands unwind and just melt the arms down towards the ground. Take your hands out in front of you. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Good, and then start to take your weight into your right foot. Walk your hands over to the right. And then walk to the left, bend your left knee. We're just gonna move back and forth. Weight to the right and over to the left. Good, just listening to your body. If you're really tight, you might stay up a little higher. You could even use your hands on your quads instead of the earth. And if you're open in your hips, you might come a little lower. Try to keep the heel of the leg that you're leaning towards on the ground. And just listening to your body moving as slowly as your body needs. Taking our Skandasana back and forth a few times. whenever you arrive back on your left leg, walk your hands around to frame your left foot. Tucking those back toes, strong core. Step back to your downward facing dog. Either pausing here or taking one last vinyasa. Meeting up in downward facing dog, take a breath. Exhale, knees to the ground. Untuck your toes. Sit your hips over to the left, and then just sweep your legs out in front of you, coming down onto your sits bones, legs out long. Lift up through the crown of your head. Inhale. And then as you exhale, start to walk your hands out in front of you and allowing your torso to soften over your legs. Find a little movement and breath here. So as you inhale, lengthen through your crown of your head, lengthen through your spine once again. And then as you exhale, soften over your legs. Breathe in, lift and lengthen. Breathe out, relax. Last time, inhale to lift. And exhale, just let your whole body soften, relax, release. If you have that pillow or bolster near you, this might be a really nice place to use it. Once again, you can use it between your legs. You just tuck it into your hip creases. Nice option for a little more support here. And just taking a few more breaths in this lovely forward fold. Allowing your body to soften into it. And then inhale, start to roll up. Bend your knees, bring your knees in towards your chest. Make sure you've got space behind you. Reach your fingertips forward. We're just gonna roll down onto our back. If you want a little bit more core work, squeeze your legs together, reach your fingertips forward, and move really slowly. And you'll find a place that's a little more challenging. Try to hold there. And then eventually, we'll all arrive on the ground. Slide your heels in really close to your hips. Arms are out long, maybe your fingertips can even touch your heels. Step into your feet, tuck your tailbone, and just begin to peel your back up off the mat. Lifting hips up towards the sky. Take a breath at the top. And then as you exhale, just roll all the way back down onto the ground. We'll take that 2 more times. Your inhale glides the hips up towards the sky. Your exhale slowly lays you back down onto the ground. One more time, your breath floating high and sinking low. Hug your knees into your chest. Reach your hands for the pinky toe edges of your feet. And then start to lift the soles of the feet up towards the sky, flexing your feet. Knees open up towards your inner upper arm. You can use your hands to give a little downward pressure. If it's hard to reach your feet, you can always hold your ankles or even onto the backs of your quads instead. And shift your weight a little side to side. Happy baby pose. Make it feel good. Did lots of nice hip opening throughout your practice. Just allowing some final movement in those hips. And then maybe finding stillness and noticing if your tailbone is lifted. Can you press your lower back, your tailbone down towards the ground? Just a little more opening there. Take one more breath. Exhale, bring your knees back into the chest. Squeeze the knees in. Tuck your chin to your chest. Take a nice deep breath in. Squeeze really tight. And then exhale, just release. Let your legs come out long along the ground. Your toes fall out to either side. Heels can be even wider apart than your hips. Palms facing up towards the sky, arms away from the body. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath your chest. Reach out a little longer through your heels. Tuck your chin gently towards your chest and lengthen through the top of your head. Take a really deep, slow breath in. And as you exhale, eyes are closed. Just feeling the whole body softening, relaxing, releasing into your Shavasana, your final resting posture, where all the efforts of your practice are absorbed by your body. And as you allow yourself to rest here, perhaps holding in your mind for just one more moment something, someone that you are grateful for. Feeling that gratitude, that warmth in your body. That knowledge that you already have so much, that your life and the world around you is abundant. There's no need to grasp or hold tightly. We can be generous, express our gratitudes. That there is enough for us all. And if your thoughts begin to drift, just bringing them back to the present moment, back to your body, back to your breath. And if you can stay a little longer in your Shavasana, perhaps just pausing the video, staying here. Otherwise, begin to deepen your breathing. That abundant breath all around you, bringing it into your lungs and emptying out. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe reaching arms up overhead and stretching from fingertips to toe tips. And then bend your knees. Roll to your right side. And pause for a moment as you prepare to move from your practice to the rest of your day. How can you hold this intention and take it with you? How might you experience more gratitude in your life today? How might you express your gratitude in your life today? And when you're ready, press into your palms, moving yourself up to seated. Keeping your eyes heavy. Draw your hands together at heart center. Closing our practice with a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bowing your forehead to your hands, namaste. I'm so grateful to all of you for being here with me virtually. Hope you feel strong and steady at the end of this slow flow. Have a beautiful rest of your day.